Hello everyone! Today we're going to be doing an origami project. For the first little bit, I'm just going to go over what supplies we need, what we're going to be learning about, and the project's like exactly what we're doing. I highly encourage everyone to get outside. It's very nice out. Summer is about to end, at least for me, when I am making this, and I encourage everyone to participate. We would like as much artwork as possible. Okay, so as I said before, we're going to be needing a couple of items in order to make our origami. Here I have some crayons, I have some scissors, some paper, a flat surface. This is a glass table that's outside on my porch. Today we're going to be learning about ecosystems. The exact projects that we're going to be doing today include a frog, a butterfly, a flower, and then a bumblebee. And so the first thing that we're going to be making is the bee. And for this, I will show you both how to use the scissors and how to not use the scissors, as well as coloring is optional. I think especially for the bee, it makes it look super cute, but of course that is all up to you. Bees rely on flowers for food. They eat the nectar and the pollen from the flowers. Some bees get the pollen from the flowers stuck on their feet, and then they walk all around with this pollen on their feet that then they bring to their hive where they live, and depending on the type of bee, can be made into either honey or food for the baby bees. When bees take the pollen from one flower to another flower, this is called pollination. And the bees bring the pollen from a man flower to a woman flower. They are able to make seeds and have little flower babies. Bees are really important for the ecosystem. An ecosystem is like a neighborhood for animals. So we have our neighbors who we rely on, and that's kind of how the animals work. The animals live in different places. They each have their homes, and sometimes the animals help each other out. The bees, they help the flowers grow. The butterflies that also rely on flowers are able to have more food because the bees make food for them. Without bees, flowers wouldn't be as abundant. There wouldn't be as many flowers. And so the butterflies would have less food, and then there would be less butterflies. And we don't want that. And the more butterflies there are, the more baby butterflies there are. So there's more caterpillars, which help the ecosystem from the ground up by providing food for other animals, such as frogs. And the frogs eat the caterpillars. But it's okay if all the caterpillars turned into butterflies, then they would take over the world. And we cannot have that. And also, it's important to remember that just because frogs are eating caterpillars does not mean that we should be eating caterpillars. We do not need to worry about the butterfly population. We just need to make sure that we are being protective of the environment. We want to make sure that the caterpillars get all their chance to grow up to be butterflies, and we want to make sure all the frogs are left untouched. So the first thing we're going to be doing is making a square with our paper. And we can do this by folding a big triangle and matching up this edge of the paper with this other edge of the paper. And so you can see I'm a little off here. My corner is not perfect, but that's okay. And so then what we're going to do is we're going to fold this rectangular flap and make a crease right where this line is. Just like so. Now would be a time when you can use your scissors to carefully cut along this line. If you don't want to use the scissors, then you can just fold the paper back on this crease. And then rip the paper. And there we have a nice square. We're going to fold it in half. Open it up. And then fold it in half the other way. And so now we have 4 boxes. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pick a box and then we're gonna color some yellow and black stripes on it. Here are my crayons. This one is a little broken, but he'll still work. And so, if you don't have crayons, that's okay. It will be a beautiful bee. And also, if you have different colored crayons, but you don't have yellow or black, that is also okay. And you can use those colors and just have a very colorful bee, which is just fine. You can even use more than one color and make him a rainbow bee. There we go. There are my yellow and black stripes. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fold it diagonally and make a triangle. And then we're going to open it up again and do the same thing the other way. So now we're going to turn it so that the stripes face upwards. And we're going to take this bottom corner here and flip him over just like this. And then we're going to take it, flip it over, and we see how we have this crease here? We're going to make it again on the opposite side, just like this. And then we're going to flip it back over and fold this in like this. And then we're going to do the same thing for the other side. So now we're going to fold his wing in just a little bit. See this extra triangle we have here? We're gonna fold that in just like that. And again on the other side. And then we're going to flip it over and bend it backwards. So we're going to do the same little triangle on both sides backwards. So now our bee looks like this. And still on the back, what we're going to do is we're going to take this triangle that we have and we're going to look on the inside of it. And we're going to make a littler triangle by just pressing flat down on this triangle that we made here. So I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we're going to fold his head over just like this. We can color his head yellow. And if you have a blue crayon, then we can draw some wings. And there we go, there's our little bumblebee. You can even take your black crayon from earlier and draw some little eyes and some antennas. And now we have a little bee. Next, we're going to be making the butterfly. So as we mentioned before, butterflies rely a lot on flowers and bees in order to get their food and fall in love and make baby caterpillars. And so they are very important for everyone to get along. And they're also a lot like the frogs that we're going to be making later, because butterflies and frogs both start as something that looks a lot different from when they grow up, and they both metamorphosize. Metamorphosis is when a baby animal turns into an adult animal and goes through a transformative process. And this is basically a fancy way of saying that baby frogs are tadpoles, and then when they become an adult, they're just frogs. And then baby butterflies are caterpillars. And then they go into their cocoon and they come out as butterflies. And since butterflies are insects, this means that they have an exoskeleton, which is on the outside of their body. Humans have an endoskeleton, and this means that our bones are on the inside. Bees and all insects also have an exoskeleton, which means that all insects like ants and wasps all have an exoskeleton, and their bones are on the outside of their bodies. Another fun fact is that butterflies have 4 wings, not 2. Even though 2 wings fold at the same time and they both flap, this bottom section of the wing is a different wing than the top section. So they actually have 4 wings. Butterflies do a lot to make sure they don't get eaten. They fly in different directions, they go all random sorts of places, they have weird spots and colors on them that make them look nasty. You don't want to eat a colorful butterfly. Also, butterflies have a straw-shaped tongue. This means that whenever they eat, they just unroll their tongue from their mouth and then drink the nectar from the flower. So again, the first step, now that we've moved on to the butterfly, is to make a square. So I'm going to take this paper, fold it into a triangle, fold this rectangle over, fold it back over on the other side. And this time, I'm not going to use the scissors. I'm just going to rip it off. So I'm going to make a little tear and then just pull it apart. Like so. And now, we're going to fold it into a triangle again. And then into a hamburger. And then I'm going to turn it and fold it into another hamburger. What we're going to do is we're going to try and make these two triangles on these two sides. So this one and then this one. And we're going to try and make them into the paper, if that makes sense. So do you see how this is like a triangle? And then we have this flap back here. Well, if we go to the other side and make this into our triangle, then we can kind of see how the top has flattened out, I suppose you could call it. And now, when we press down, it looks like we have one big triangle. Okay, so I know that was tricky. If you need to go back and look, go back and look. That is completely okay. So now we're going to turn our triangle upside down, and then we're going to take this and fold it down just like this. And we want to make sure that a little bit of the tip here overlaps. We don't want the corner to go all the way in like this. We want to make sure we have a nice wing right here. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. So now we're going to flip it over and use this back flap here and fold it up and then turn it over and fold it over again. Now we can see how it almost looks like a butterfly. Well, he just needs to fold in half. And now we have a complete butterfly. So now for this one, we're gonna make a frog, just like Fred over here. Fred even jumps. So now, of course, we're gonna start by making a square. And remember, even if you rip it and it looks all jaggedy like this, that's okay. You can take some scissors and clean that edge right up. See? Not too bad. Now we're going to fold it in half. And now we're going to take this corner and fold it in just like this. And then we're going to take this corner and fold that one in, as well as folding this corner in. And then this top corner. This is going to be similar to the butterfly, where we have to push in these sides here in order to get this triangle by itself. So we're going to make this triangle. We've got this floppy stuff on this back side. So then we're going to come over here and make this triangle. And then fold these inner pieces to the inside. So now it's like one nice triangle. We're going to do the same thing on this side over here. And so another way to do this is to push in on these inner sides, these two outside triangles first, to make the back triangle, and then we can take this front part and push it down to make this front triangle. And make sure you've made both of the triangles on one side of the paper. We want this side to be very nice and pretty looking, very clean, while this side has all the paper and the folds on it. And now we're going to take one of these corners, fold it in so that it reaches this tippy top corner, and do the same with the other side. And now we're going to fold them back out again. And these are going to be his little froggy legs. So we've got one little froggy foot here, and another little froggy foot here. And you see how we took this outer edge so we took this corner, folded it in, and then folded it back out, like so. And now we're going to do the same thing for this other side on the top. We're going to fold the corner up, fold this corner up, and then fold them back to make some froggy legs. Like that. And remember, at any time you want, you can color any of these pieces. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip him upside down and take his tail and fold it up in, and then we're going to take this corner and we're going to fold it all the way into the middle. And the same thing with this side. So now he's looking pretty similar. He's kind of flat, but he's got his 4 legs, his head, and almost his tail. Let's bring Fred back over here. So now we're going to fold this guy almost in half, like this. And then we're going to take his hind legs, and this is going to be a very hard fold, and we're going to fold it back again. And make sure you press down really hard. And now we're going to flip him over. And now he looks the same as Fred. And now they can both hop. So now we are on to our final project, the flower. So this is going to be, like I said, the last project, and so the main goal of a flower is to make more flowers. They want to make the world as flowery as possible. Some flowers are man flowers, some flowers are woman flowers, and then other flowers can be both at the same time. It's really cool. Flowers, they are very bright colors, they have big petals with spots and maybe stripes or different designs to help attract the bees and the butterflies that get their nectar and pollen from them. When the bees do mix the pollen around and the butterflies fly from flower to flower, the pollen gets distributed, and so it goes from one flower to another flower to another flower. The flowers fall in love and they decide to have little baby flowers, and so they make seeds. And so these seeds are spread all around. They can be distributed by the wind. Do you know when you blow a dandelion that the fuzzy things on the outside are actually the little baby flowers that are going to grow from when you blow them away? Others are even distributed by birds, and so the birds, they eat the flowers, they eat the seeds, and then the birds fly around, and what do they poop? The baby flowers. The seeds go from the bird down to the ground where they can start being, they can like put down a root and then begin their process of growing. For our last main project here, we're going to be making a flower. And so of course, as with any of these, you may color it before, you may color it after, it does not matter what you do. But you can do whatever you like, and I'm sure it will turn out beautifully. So of course, like with all of these, we're going to start out with a square. And this time, I'm just going to cut along the crease. So now I'm going to fold it diagonally and make a triangle. Then I'm going to fold it as a hamburger. Then I'm going to unfold it again, turn it, and fold it as another hamburger. So similar to how we have done it the past couple times, we're going to take and make this into these two triangles. So this triangle and this triangle up here and down here. And we're going to push in these two side triangles. it may help you if you refold your creases, so that way you can push the sides in easier, and then these will be out on top. So now we're going to fold these in. On both sides. And then we're going to fold this point back down. Same with this side. And then we're going to fold them back up and open up this triangle to make a square. And open up this triangle to make another square. Now we're going to do the exact same thing on the other side. I'm going to fold the corners up. Fold them back down. And then open them up into a square. Now we're going to fold this triangle over so that we have a nice rectangle. And we're going to open it up and see how some of these are connected. So like this guy here is connected. We're gonna fold him into a triangle. And the opposite one is also done the same way. So now we're gonna flip it over. Okay, so we're going to take our triangle, we're going to open it up, and then we're going to choose a side, and we're going to fold it over. So this crease in here, I am flattening in this square. And so now it looks like I have 3 tall creases instead of the 2 from the triangle. And I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side with this one. And I'm just going to open him up and fold him down. So now it looks like I have 4 points. And now I'm going to kind of pinch this top bit here and twist. Then I'm going to hold it for a little bit, just twist it a little more, scrunch it up really nicely, and then when you let it go, it should be all swirly. And then if you like, you can fold over the corners of the petals to make them look all curled. Or you can leave him just how he is. And if you need another good twist, give it another twist and make sure it's nice and pretty. And so here are our final 4 projects. We have our frog, our butterfly, our rose, and then our bee. And remember that all of these animals work together to make sure they are all healthy and happy. I hope everyone has a great day, and I cannot wait to see you guys later. Make sure you make your artwork super creative and pretty, and I cannot wait to see it later.